Ernie Racing News reporting April 26, 2024. Main Street Research did a poll, guys. We're going to go over the 38-page report, starting with page 36. If a federal election were held today, how would you vote? By decided voters in the poll, 56% conservative, followed by 18% liberal Trudeau, followed by 16% for NDP. Oh, man. And then I can't believe people still. And 7% for Green for party, and then 4% for another party, which would be the PPC most likely. Now let's go showing what mainstream media is talking about, because it's crickets out in mainstream media when you try to search for this poll. Here we have on a search, guys, because we're also focusing on the BC, and that's what's really exciting about this. The BC election poll 2024. Well, guess what? It only shows from March 22nd, where the provincial numbers are interesting and continue to suggest that the BC United rebrand experiment is a failure. The BC NDP remains top choice. Here you have on March 19th, and then election poll finds BC NDP ahead, but half voters ready to change. So that's March. But where is the poll from the recent poll here? It's not showing up. So far, the only story is on Castanet here, April 26th. BC United facing political wipeout as Conservatives surge. And here's the poll. And this is them focusing on British Columbia. If a provincial election were held today, how would you vote? By decided voters. Both versions combined, and we'll get into that. So we have 39% with the Conservatives, 36% NDP, followed by 15% Liberal for British Columbia, guys. And so a new poll is showing the BC Conservatives ahead of the BC NDP for the first time. The poll published Friday by Main Street Research is a unique one and tested two scenarios. A group of responders were queried using the BC United brand, while another group were asked to the ballot question using the BC Liberal, the party's former name. So the BC Liberal has changed their name to the BC United, because I think they're afraid of what Trudeau has done to the Liberal brand. The results from both versions were combined together, putting the BC Conservatives on top with 38.9% of respondents, followed by the BC NDP at 36.2%, BC United at 15.3%, and BC Greens at 6.7%. So the latest snapshot of the BC political landscape gains a grim scene for Kevin Falcon and the BC United Party. Okay, let's go look at the poll, guys. So I'm quickly going back to page 1. Boom, here it is from Main Street Research Survey, British Columbia. And they give a little back information. It's founded in 2010 as one of Canada's top public opinions and market research firms. And the analysis in this report is based on results of a survey conducted from Tuesday, April 23rd to April 24th, 2024, among a sample of 962 adults 18 years of age or older living in British Columbia. The survey was conducted using automated telephone interview, Smart IVR. Respondents were interviewed on landlines and cellular phones. The survey is intended to represent the voting population in British Columbia. The margin of error for the poll is plus or minus 3.2% at the 95% confidence level. Okay, so let's take a look. Page 3. So the first one, if a provincial election were held today, how would you vote? So this is all voters using the name BC United. So the new Liberal name, BC United, got 11% in this poll, while we have the Conservatives at 32% and the NDP EB at 33%. So let's move on. And they break it down by age, gender, region, and we'll look at more of the overall ones for those so we don't get too detailed. And broken by federal vote. And so here's the next one. By decided and undecided voters. So the same question for provincial by decided and undecided voters combined. Because some people are like, well, I don't know who I'm voting yet, but probably this. And this is with BC United. So now we're at 35% and 35% tie between Conservatives and NDP. And 14% at Liberal. And again, the breakdown. And next, if a provincial election were held today, how would you vote? By decided voters. So this is people that I know who I'm voting for using the BC United title. Now look, it's 38% tie between Conservative and NDP, and again, 15% for Liberals. Now, let's take a look at, now that we're getting a little more serious here. Broken down by race, 37%. Okay, we have NDP, Conservative, Green, United, another party. White is unweighted frequency, 366. Black, so there's only a few black people. There's not too many East Asian, some Latino, Middle East, South Asian, Southeast Asian. First Nations are 19, multiracial. Okay, and broken out by education. And we have NDP 37, Conservative 38.5, and United at 14. And high school or less, we got the 74, 148. College, university. And then they got money and income broken down by that. So yeah, we got some interest. And then they got age, gender, and region. Female, male, non-binary, there's 18 and 6. And then you got your age groups. So most of the people in the poll, looks like 182 for 65 plus on unweighed frequency. Okay. Anyways, let's move on. And then by federal vote as well as broken down. Trudeau, 9381. Conservative, Polyev, 248, 237. NDP, 7468. And Green Party. So there you have a huge lead on the federal one. Now let's move on, guys. If a provincial election were held today, how would you vote? So this is all voters for provincial election using the BC Liberals listed. So the decided, the undecided, the people that aren't sure. And we have Conservatives with a large lead at 37% versus 30% for NDP and 15% for Liberal. And then they got their breakdown again. And then if a provincial election were held today, how would you vote? Decided and undecided voters. This is using the BC Liberals name, right? So people that don't maybe know the new name. And you have Conservatives taking a large lead on versus the other version at 39% with 33% and 15% Liberal. So 39% for Conservatives. And their breakdown again. If a provincial election were held today, how would you vote? By decided voters using the BC Liberals name. And even more is now Conservative, 40%, 34%, NDP, and 16% Liberal. So either way, the Liberal is always third and always dropped by a huge margin compared to the NDP and then the Conservative. And breakdown again. If a provincial election were held today, how would you vote? So this is now is all voters, both combinations of the names of Liberals, and we're shrinking it down to 13% Liberals, 31% NDP, and 34% Conservative. So I got that. They got a 3% lead there, broken down. If a provincial election were held today, how would you vote? Decided and undecided voters with both versions combined. 14% Liberal, 34% NDP, 36% Conservative. And moving on, if a provincial election were held today, how would you vote? By decided voters with both Liberal names. Now we have 15% Liberal, 36% NDP, and 39% Conservative. So the Conservatives just keep getting higher as you look through these statistics. If a federal, now on to the federal election. So that was provincial. If a federal election were held today, how would you vote? All voters, 16% Liberal, 14% NDP, 51% Conservative. It's a freaking smash, guys. Absolutely. 51% versus 16 for the Liberal, followed by 14 for the NDP. Freaking-tastic, guys. Look at that. That's amazing. And broken down by age. So how many people we have? Male, you got the total was 962 people. 524 male, 397 female, non-binary 41. 104 were 18 to 34. 215 were 35 to 49. 257 people voted from 50 to 64. And 386 voted for 65 plus. So the 65 plus are actually the people picking up the phone more and that's probably also why it's showing more conservative because the older people are actually ones, like people who watch my YouTube channel, the majority of them are over 50 years old. The 54 to 64 is my majority, followed by the 65 plus, followed by the 35 to 49, and then last is the younger crowd at 18 to 34, and even last is like there's like 1% of teenagers in my YouTube channels. Broken down by education and broken down on provincial vote. And let's move on. And again, page 33. If a federal election were held today, how would you vote? By decided and undecided voters, 53% conservative, followed by 17% liberal and 15% NDP. So again, the conservatives have more than the liberal and NDP combined. In fact, the conservative have 53%. They have more than all of the other parties combined. More by 3%, more than double of them. Broken down. So this is fantastic news. And then by decided voters, 56%, even more than half the pie. 56% of the pie versus 18 liberal, 16 NDP, 7 green, 4% PPC. And boom, boom, boom. And that's it, guys. That's the whole thing. And broken out by race, you got 731 white, 13 black, 39 East Asian, 11 Latino, 8 Middle Eastern, 31 South Asian, 13 Southeast Asian, 38 First Nation, and 47 multiracial. So, wow, guys, that is the number, 56%. So if I look, if I look up this poll one more time, let's see if there's anybody reporting on it besides that one Castanet. Okay, so I'm typing in Conservatives lead BC election poll search, and I'm using Brave. And guess what? We have nothing about the recent poll, guys. This top one is new BC poll sees NDP in the lead. Conservatives surging within 6 points. Like, this is back from March 21st. A new poll suggests the Conservative Party BC within 6% of the governing BC NDP. Conducted from March 18th and 19th. So where's this new poll? Federal Conservatives climbed the top of BC. This is 4 weeks ago. BC Conservatives trail BC NDP. This is 2 weeks ago. Like, it's a freaking Thursday, isn't it? Or is it Friday? It doesn't matter. Where is the information? BC Conservatives poll into second and latest poll, December 5th, December 4th. See, I've searched before I recorded for several different keywords, and I still couldn't find anything. Now I typed in new poll BC Conservatives lead. Let's see what that brings up. Same thing. 2023, like, frick. Now I typed in Conservatives lead poll federal elections. Show you the federal end of this. 2 weeks ago, July 23. See, nobody wants you to know about this latest poll, guys. This is such bullshit. So here's the mainstreetresearch.ca. This is what I downloaded. I downloaded the whole PDF we just went over. Created date. It was created 13 hours ago, April 26th. There's been plenty of time for the news to get on this. 13 hours ago. This is ridiculous. New poll of British Columbia. Conservatives 38.9%. BC NDP 36. BC United 15. Yeah. Here I am on Google now. Poll shows BC Conservatives making inroads among April 1st. There's the Main Street, British Columbia, 11 hours ago. Their actual website shows up. And Reddit, it's on Reddit. And then otherwise, Maple Ridge News, the Maple Ridge News from the March 21st olds. What's on Reddit here? New poll, British Columbia, BC Conservatives, 38. So here's this thing. So one person reads here, huge disparity between methodologies of polls right now. The automated phone pollsters like Main Street and liaison strategies have the BC Conservatives surge continuing, while online panel pollsters like Legger, Angus Reid, and Research Co. have the BC Conservatives plateauing in the mid 20% range. And then a comment, me and everyone I know who is my age or younger. Well, this must be a freaking teenager the way it's written, like not even a good teenager. Me and everyone I know who is my age or younger are not answering our phones to unknown numbers. Phone calls are not accurate. Here's another comment from Jealous Art. This is a weird poll that was done with landlines and cell phones. Most people under 40 don't answer calls from pollsters and unlisted numbers. Well, actually, my mom doesn't answer calls from unlisted numbers either. And, she's not under 40. In fact, she's over 70. So I don't know if that's actually accurate. With that said, if people in this province truly are stupid enough to elect John Rostad premier, we will get exactly what we deserve. All we need to do is look one province over to see what that'll be. Oh my God, like Alberta's having a terrible time. What a skewed answer. I'm sure the polls skew older, but most people under 40 also don't vote. To be fair, the people who answer calls are also the ones who vote. I don't answer phones and also vote. I'm 50 plus. The sample size of 962 polled from April 23rd to 24th, probably an outlier, but the BC NDP need to start campaigning sooner than later. Like, what is with people? Like, how have things been good in BC? How have things been good in Canada? Everything is double, triple the price. The food, buying any item you want, buying trucks or toys, cat food, your food, tables, computers, everything is freaking expensive because of the Liberals and the NDP screwing us over on purpose to make us all suckle at the teat of the government, and then they'll take away the tit and make you beg for it. That's what is happening. Here's a classic one from this Reddit is ridiculous. I'm not surprised that they are gaining support, but I'm saddened that people don't realize all the good that the BC NDP have done in the last few years. Well, please list out what good this big, stupid government has done. Going to BC Conservatives would undo much of that work. So, what work? I'm not familiar with it. And for what? They aren't going to solve any of the problems in the province and will make it more expensive for many people. What about the free drugs in BC? What about the extreme crime? What about the catch and release that these people rob, steal a car 2 days in a row? What about this? Here's they are sky-high taxes, junkies everywhere, and you can't even see a doctor. Give me 4 more years of that. Why? And then the answers were deleted. What? Deleted. Their argument was deleted. And here's a spirited league. The F is going on with these 962 people. The BC NDP is killing it. What else do people want the Conservatives could and would give them? Oh my God, axe the carbon tax. Actually put criminals in prison. Make people accountable. Reduce crime. Reduce inflation. Make food affordable. Stop giving away free drugs. Stop inducing the free drugs and the crime and the crack in the streets and the meth and addicts and fentanyl users all on government supply. Stop having the immigrants get paid for everything while we suffer and have the homeless go 4 times. Like, what do I have to go into? Oh, this is a good one. Albertans are flocking to BC. Sorry. It's the other way around. I have a house here they can buy so I can move back to Alberta. Good Lord, we're in a nation of idiots. Oh, look, back to the main thing. Poll suggests BC Conservatives move past NDP in voter support 6 hours ago. So finally, from VernonMatters.ca, from Vernon, the littlest website, guys, is, there you go, Conservatives 39 and the overall whatever pick they picked. The Conservative Party of BC is calling the latest poll in the provincial election great news, but adds it's just a snapshot in time and they can't take their foot off the gas. British Columbians are fed up. They want change. NDP policies aren't working. It's time to try something new, said Conservative leader John Rustad said in email to subscribers on Friday. Oh, anyways, guys, my name is Marcel, and thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and share to beat that censor tube. Get this out there and about. Catch you on another story.